Welcome to the field at Norristown. I'm Steve Acavino, joined by Matt Fulmer, bringing you 2006 varsity lacrosse. And Matt, it's been a struggle this year so far for Norristown. In your mind, what do they have to do to get the job done and get the wheels going?
Well, the key is going to be with the defense, staying at home, not moving around as much. That sounds bad, but they've gotten themselves tired out a lot lately, and that's been their downfall. They've just been chasing back and forth. They've had the ball in their own defensive zone too long, and it's just time for them to try and play a little defense, slow it down a little bit to their pace so they're not running around all the time.
Well said. And one thing, they have to get their offense going. They have to generate more scoring opportunities, use the field to their advantage, move the ball around a little bit more, and set up some plays in the box.
Well, that's true, and you have a couple positions where you have guys to do that. The midfielder is really a guy you have to respect. He covers the entire field, and if they could generate some offense today, that would be good.
Well, they know what's on the line now. Let's see if they can get everything together. Only time will tell, and we'll be back with the start of the game right after this break. Welcome back to the field at Norristown. Steve Acavino along with Matt Fulmer once again. And Matt, as we talked about in the pregame show, this is going to be a real test for Norristown to see what they can do, see if they regrouped or have learned anything from their previous defeats earlier this year.
Well, that's true, and the PW Colonials are a very tough team. This game, the outlook might not be good, but we can only hope for the best and hope they put their hearts out there.
Well, talking to a few players earlier in the week, especially talking in depth with defenseman Mike Mulvey, one thing that he said is that they come out and play lackluster because they're a little bit, should we say, scared or a little bit nervous about the task at hand. He does admit, and he comes out saying that they're very inexperienced right now, and that they have to learn to play together. And I agree with Mike on that point, that they do need to come out and they do need to find that spark. They need to find that team sense to come out and perform.
Well, not only that, but they have to find themselves individually. This is a very young program, only been around a couple years here at Norristown, where PW, as far as we know, has probably been established for a few seasons.
Another good point you
and
make,
that's
yes.
a tough thing. You have a lot of guys on this team who this might be their first year playing, so they're trying to find their identities individually, and that makes it even tougher to find that team identity.
Right, and I agree with that. And that's another thing that Mike touched on, too, was that the other teams, may have been playing for 5, 6, 7 years now, and that's even before they get into high school, rather than the team here that, like you said, is a new team, really still in the learning the fundamentals and the transitions of the game. And we'll see. Hopefully, like I was talking with Mike said, progressively the games will start to get closer and closer towards the end of the season until they win one, and hopefully we'll see that. But right now, it's all about working hard out there.
Well, that's true. Everything you've said is completely correct. And when you look at Norristown, overall, guys, girls, it's not really a lacrosse school. And it's a basketball school, it's a football school, and the other programs aren't as renowned. And as we look at this young program, they're putting it all out there, and you have to give them the credit. They're brave for doing it and giving it a try.
Right.
But this is almost as if maybe, say, you and I were out there and started with them at the beginning of the season, beginning of camp, working out. It's no different for some of these players. Not to say that they're not more talented or more athletic than us, but they're just as new to the game as we would be. And that's true for a lot of these guys. And it's great to see the progress they've made and hopefully the progress they will make as the season continues.
That's right. The only way they can go is to get better with the experience that some of them had before they came in. That's the only thing they can do is improve upon what they have, the base that they came in with, and add on to that.
Well, absolutely, and so far it's gotten better and better. It's gone from blowout to mild blowout on to close game and even closer, and hopefully they'll really be contending in this one. And I'm sure the progress has not only surprised but delighted Coach Devers this year. Again, we keep saying this. The program is so young,
Mm-hmm.
so new, that any real success, any games won, goals scored, they all go towards it, and they're just important milestones in this team's history.
All right, well, looks like we're ready to get this one underway. Face off at midfield. Loose ball still. Plymouth-Whitemarsh comes up with possession, and they'll be going on the first attack. Tom Walton, goal number 24 for Norristown. Tom's been battle-tested these last few games. Nice set-up play. Nice passing by the Colonials early on. Miss there out to the point. PW remains control. Loses the ball again. But back in control of Plymouth-Whitemarsh. Looking to cut in. Shoots and scores early on.
Well, and there it is. They let the Colonials stay in the offensive zone way too long, and it's going to be a very long day for this Eagles team if that continues. And one thing to look at, we look at the goaltender. He's also pretty new to the game from what I understand,
Mm-hmm.
and he has to, not to say he's afraid of the ball,
Mm-hmm.
but he has to get the sense of when to move into it and things like that to be more effective.
Plymouth-Whitemarsh again comes up with the possession and going back on the attack.
And notice the stick handling, Steve. They're very controlled. They take their time.
Right.
They make their passes.
Nice cradle work, too. All right. Plymouth-Whitemarsh looking for an opportunity out in front. Ambrose Bandy for Norristown regains control and moves upfield.
Some nice cradle work there by Bandy.
Ooh, loses his cross and the ball. Loose ball. Plymouth-Whitemarsh fighting for it. It's anybody's now. Matt Tavares having trouble gaining the loose ball. And Plymouth-Whitemarsh regains it after the fight. PW looking to set up a play again. Back out to the right wing. Out in front again, goes for the shot. Nice block out in front. Loose ball again on the field. PW regains possession. Out to the point. Cuts in the center. And out of bounds. But will remain with Plymouth-Whitemarsh. And early on, Matt, we see Plymouth-Whitemarsh working the ball around already. Setting up plays already. What do you think so far?
Well, they're really moving the ball well, as we said. But after that dismal first possession on the defensive end for Norristown, it started to look a little brighter. They got towards the offensive zone, and now they're back on D again. So
Long feed from Tavares. Loses the ball again. Norristown, Plymouth-Whitemarsh turns it over. Ambrose Bandy takes a shot. Save. Nice save there by Plymouth-Whitemarsh's keeper.
and that was one of those great offensive opportunities we'd like to see much more of in this game.
All right, Plymouth-Whitemarsh back on the attack. Moving around, thinking, looking for that opportunity. Out in front behind the net. This is out in front, long pass. Nice footwork, nice ball movement. Ooh, Tom Waltz almost lost that one to the... PW working it around the corners. Back to the point, out in front. Ooh, that one just skidded wide. And Tom Waltz is getting tested early.
Well, and so far he's held up pretty well, except for that first shot he faced, and that's a good sign. it really looked like it was going to get away from them quick after that first possession, and looking a little better now.
Nice feed. PW behind the net, out in front. Oh, just to the left. Just missing again on nice setup plays by Plymouth-Whitemarsh so far. Their offense looks pretty good. Tries to make a cut instead. Out in front. Ooh, that one just hit off the left post.
Call in the favor of Norristown there. That certainly helps.
All right, Tom Waltz plays it out. Loose ball. Ryan Silks, 45 for Norristown, regains possession. But looks like he was out of bounds, and possession will go back to Plymouth-Whitemarsh.
Well, so far the story of the game is shot opportunities. 4-1 in favor of Plymouth-Whitemarsh, and that number has to even out a little bit for Norristown to have a chance here.
Without time of possession in the favor of Plymouth-Whitemarsh. All right. Here comes Norristown. Ball knocked loose by PW. Loose ball. Having trouble controlling, and here comes Tavares. He lost the ball. It's a fight out in front. Nice way to work the body. Feed to Bandy. Ooh. Ball trickles down. Brian Kennedy, number 40. Tavares. Long pass, but over the head. Goes out of bounds. And that's another thing we've seen too earlier this year, Matt, is wasted opportunities in the offensive zone.
And that's something that this team really can't afford, since it's tough for them at times to get into that offensive zone. And when you get there and come up short or waste an opportunity, it really hurts you.
All right, Plymouth-Whitemarsh. Silks really.
Number 55 there with some great handling coming down the field.
That's right, 45. Ryan Silks was working him pretty good and still couldn't get him down. Plymouth-Whitemarsh just playing the corners, moving that ball around. So far, that's what's worked. Around from the net. Gives it out in front, tries to make a feed. Again, just setting it up when they don't have a play yet. Takes the shot in behind Tom Waltz for goal number 2. It just seems that it's not going to happen, because you know it is going to happen. You're just trying to time when it's going to happen. And again,
it's not about if, it's about when.
Right.
And we've seen some nice checking thus far from Norristown. Silks with 2 on that possession there. It's a shame that second one was all for naught. The shot went in, but just a shattering hit.
Face off again. Bandy tries to get to that possession for Norristown. Silks turns around, couldn't get to it. Ball's still loose. Possession, Plymouth-Whitemarsh. Moving upfield again. Very dangerous on the attack. Back to the point. Takes a shot. Ooh, deflected out in front. All right, Plymouth-Whitemarsh inbounds. Out in front. Ooh, blocked by Tom Waltz. Tom read that shot really well.
Very nice goaltending on that play. Great deflection on that pass.
Well, talking with Tom earlier today, he takes a lot of the slack for the poor performances and admits when he has had bad games.
Well, and with the experience level, you're going to have your bad games in the beginning, and the great news is it can only get better.
All right, Silk's doing a nice job keeping inbounds. One of the more experienced Norristown players.
And it certainly shows.
All right, Plymouth-Whitemarsh moving up again on the attack. And the ball has just spent a lot of time in Norristown's defensive zone. Ball knocked loose by Tavares. But Plymouth-Whitemarsh comes up with the ball again. Nice feed inside. Oh, that could have been dangerous right there.
Well, just a reminder, you're watching Norristown Eagles Lacrosse. Matt Fulmer here with Steve Acavino. The Eagles down 2-0 here in quarter number 1.
All right, Plymouth-Whitemarsh really looking for that midfield position. They really want to get feeds inside. Behind the net. Just passing around again, using the field to their advantage. Nice recovery there. PW has pretty good cross work and cradling, and there's a shot, and again, another goal.
Well, that makes it 3-0 here in the first half. Still early on. And again, we go back to the shot opportunities. It's now 9-1 in favor of Plymouth-Whitemarsh. That is definitely the story of this game.
Well, when you're getting outshot and you're getting outplayed, and you're playing a team that's been a little bit more experienced, that's what the scores are going to start to look like.
Well, this is considered to be one of the toughest, if not the toughest team in the division. So it's definitely not easy to go up against these guys. And considering all the opportunities that the Colonials have had on goal, 9 of them, and to only score on 1/3, that does show some progress and improvement on the Eagles' part.
Well, we have a timeout on the field. One thing that I just think is that I know they may be inexperienced, but I'd like to see this team come out a little bit more fired up, a little bit more juiced. I know it could be hard to do at this point with the unexperienced level and coming out and saying, oh, we're going to get killed at game after game. I'd like to see them just come out one of these games and just go. I mean, put it in their mind that they're going to bring their A game, whatever they have, whatever that may be at this point, and go out there and just throw it to them. Get out there and bring some attitude.
Well, I agree with you, and I'm not in the locker room, and neither are you.
Right.
But we have people on the team that we talk to, and I don't think it's a lack of effort, again, a lack of experience, but I think they're getting out there, they're giving it their all, and again, what makes it so tough is the fact that they're constantly working on defense. The offensive opportunities don't come often enough, and that hurts them.
And you can't put, it's again, too much pressure, too much relying on the defense to win the games rather than getting some offense started, and it's just put a lot of pressure on them. And talking with some of them, and it gets very exhausting after a while.
And when you rely on a young, somewhat inexperienced goaltender, and again, you said you're falling back on that defense, the goaltender is the stronghold, the last line of defense in that entire equation. So it's just tougher and tougher as you go on. If you keep that team in your defensive zone for too long, you just wear yourself out.
Very well stated. And timeout is over, and both teams coming back on the field.
Interesting little saying there at the end of that huddle. I don't know if you caught it. 1, 2, 3, work. So they're out here to put in some effort, and they're giving it their all, and that's what you like to see.
All right. Again for the face-off. Again, loose ball. Picked up by Plymouth-Whitemarsh. And they'll go to work again in Norristown's defensive zone. Out in front, just wide. After the timeout, PW wasting no time getting to work. Loose ball picked up by Norristown. Plymouth-Whitemarsh jabs the ball out. Regains possession. Ball is again loose. And the possession will go back to PW.
And how many times have we said that so far?
I'm losing count.
And fast.
Plymouth-Whitemarsh, ooh, just over the head. Brian Kennedy regains possession. Loses the ball. Having trouble with the cradling of the ball, Brian Kennedy, and
Picked up that loose ball real nice, just lost the handle.
yeah, he tried to stay with it though. Here comes Plymouth-Whitemarsh, the Colonials. Really seem like they have a pep in their step, and they should. They have a 3-goal lead. Long pass. Thought about it. Looking for their play, looking for where they're setting up.
Notice how clean their passing is.
That's
it's a
right.
fluent motion.
Exactly.
The ball almost always gets to the intended cross.
And that takes a lot of practice. That's not very easy. Out in front again, Tom Waltz didn't know where that one went, just off his shin pad. PW just very patient on offense, just looking for that play. Again, feed into the middle. Shot bounced. And that one goes in. Just by Tom Waltz. Was kind of confused after that one. I don't think he had a clear read on that ball.
Now, he might have been screened. I really couldn't tell, but definitely, if you're screened, that makes it tough. Whether it's hockey, lacrosse, doesn't matter. And the thing is, the Colonials just make it look so easy out there, and it really is a tough thing to do.
Loose ball after the face-off, regained by Matt Tavares, but again knocked loose by Plymouth-Whitemarsh. 1-2-3 slap, and that ball comes loose from any Norristown player's cross. And PW making it look like a cakewalk.
Well, you definitely see the difference. One slap
Right.
on anybody on Norristown, the ball pops right out. You see maybe number 19 or 55 for PW. They get a little stick check. The ball goes nowhere, stays right inside that cross.
Fighting for the dead ball, but finally Plymouth-Whitemarsh again comes up with it.
For a good 2 seconds, no one knew where that one was.
Out in front, scores.
And
Tom
that
Waltz.
was a beautiful
Tom Waltz
offensive
was
play.
not going to get to that one.
Well, it was a one-on-one, and those are tough because you have to cover the entire net. You don't have much help. You don't have somebody there to check the guy or put a stick up or anything like that, and it just makes it difficult. So if you're just joining us, it's now 5-0 in favor of Plymouth-Whitemarsh here at the field in Norristown. And that's been the story of the game. Shots on goal. We've said it before. We'll say it again. It's now 12-1 in favor of the Colonials.
And that's really lopsided. If we had a scale right now, well, you could probably picture it. One end all the way low, and the other one unbalanced and high in the air.
So high it would be out of the frame. That's how high it would
Yeah.
be. By the way, if you're just tuning in, Matt Fulmer here with Steve Acavino, Norristown Area High School, Eagles Lacrosse. Again, the score 5-0, Colonials on top, and we're still in the first half. It's really shaping up to be a long day for the Norristown Eagles.
Well, just we have a few seconds of quick weather report out here today. What a day! The sun's out, the sky is blue, and right now the wind is very light at this point. So great playing weather.
Got to be about 70 degrees, wouldn't you say, Steve?
Yeah, I'd say it's getting up there. It's about 65. I think I checked the last thing I checked on the computer before we came out. We don't see it that dry out here today, and the dust isn't rising in the air. So we know that the turf's a little bit more moist. All right. Fight for the ball. Second quarter action. Teams have switched sides now. Plymouth-Whitemarsh going from left to right. Norristown now going from right to left.
And obviously Norristown in the home whites, Colonials in the away red.
All right, here. Makes a cut towards the net. Takes his shot.
Amazing cradling.
Nice work. Red possession. All right. Plymouth-Whitemarsh back on the possession, back attacking. They know where they want to set up, and they're looking for it now. Lost the ball there on that one. Norristown tried to get a handle on that one, but lost it again as Plymouth-Whitemarsh comes up with it. Around in front of the net, trying to make something happen. Ball knocked loose for a second, but nice regain of possession.
Might be the first time I've seen that happen to the Colonials.
Long feed. Goaltender for PW comes out. He'll play it upfield. There's a shot again. And another goal. Tom Waltz had trouble handling that one from the beginning. Just snuck in there on the left side. And it's now 6-0, Plymouth-Whitemarsh.
Well, not exactly what anyone watching this rooting for Norristown would have liked to see. But hopefully they can turn it around here by the end of this first half. Maybe put a couple on the board.
All right. Again, after the face-off, the Whitemarsh player over the ball finally gets it back. Silks comes up with it. Oh, he just lost it. Fight for the ball on the ground. Everybody's struggling for it. White ball. All right, let's see if Norristown can start to work their offense in a little bit. We haven't seen them spend that much time in the defensive zone of PW. Ambrose Bandy with possession. Ooh, gives it Ryan Silks. Never had control of that one.
Silk's a lot of trouble today holding on to it.
I hate to think of myself as a jinx by stating earlier I had more of the experience, but it's one of those days.
Well, he did
Still,
score a goal
shoot,
the other
shoot.
day, which helps to solidify your earlier comment. But everybody does have an off day, no matter what sport you play, whether you're experienced or not. You might have your tough days, and this just might be one of those for him.
Well, Matt, I thank you for your validation on that point. And here comes Norristown. Coach Devers yelling for Ambrose Bandy to reset for Norristown. Regroup. Look for that play. As we can see, they're not passing that much. And that's into their inexperience. Takes a shot and he scores.
Well, you can't blame them for not passing quite as much because usually that's when they lose the handle, so to speak. But a nice goal there, and it's great to see them on the board.
Well, let's see if that lights the fire in the furnace.
Well, hopefully it does, and that's what everyone, including Coach Devers, would like to see.